Morning, good morning. I want to be the first person to tell you happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. You're probably like, Derika, I've heard that all week. I've said it all week. But still, it's tomorrow, and there's this beautiful energy around this season, right? There's this moment of reflection, this moment of sitting and thinking about all the things that you're thankful for, all the things that you're grateful for in your life, all the things that you appreciate in your life. Can we take a moment before we dive into a very transformative topic that could not have come at a better time? Am I right? Expectations, right? When we're around everybody right now. This is a very important topic. Yes, I know. You're going to thank me in just a moment. But let's harmonize our minds. Let's sit in a mastermind for a moment and be thankful. What are you thankful for? What are you thankful for as you are, you're tuning in right now, and maybe you're watching this on a replay or you're listening to this over the podcast. Just, I don't know, say it out loud if you want to. Think about it, process it with me. This is how we're going to create synergy. We're going to create an amplified energy of thankfulness. This is going to take this training, this episode of transformation to the next level. So sit with your heart and think about those things. I just thinking the first three things that come to my mind is my children, my husband, and this company. These are the first three things that come to my mind. It's you listening, you watching right now. I am so grateful for you. I'm so thankful for you. I mean, it's top tier. It's up there with the kids and the husband. I think about this from time to time, how being able to be here to support you, to coach you, to help rewire your mindset so you can truly create the life that you want, your goals, dreams, and desires is my life purpose. To be very frank with you, there's been a couple of times over the last decade or so that I tried not to do this. And I'm just being very raw here, it's just coming out, so here it goes. I tried not to mindset coach anymore, not to just stop coaching on telling people how powerful their mind is and how your mind is truly the command ship of creation. How you are able to, using your mind, to create your reality. I tried to stop doing that, and you know what? I became very unhappy. It was a very unhappy thing in my life. It's like being able to do this, showing up for you, supporting you, doing this work. This business is like a child of mine. And if it were to go away, it sort of destroys me. It just doesn't, I'm not happy. All right, so I'm very, very thankful for you. I'm very, very thankful for each and every one of you showing up here in this community, you listening to this, every single one of my clients. You're like I know it sounds kind of weird, but you're like a child of mine. Like, that's how much I'll always be here for you. Can't take this out of me. All right, so let's get going into that's our moment of gratitude. Hope you're feeling that thankfulness. I hope you're sitting with things that you're very thankful for in your life right now. And let's move on. Let's move on into this very, very powerful topic here today. And it's stop putting strict expectations on others. Now, let's first start off with, I know that it's really hard. It's extremely hard not to put expectations on others, because it's sort of like common sense things that you expect of others. Am I right? It's like the things that you are expecting of others, it's just common sense to you. It's things that you do, right? You expect others to do things that you yourself do, so it's common sense. It's like, I do these things, so you should do these things. I think like this, so you should think like this. You know, I do this. I take out the trash sometimes. You should take out the trash. I love you like this, so you should love me like this. Right? There's this whole like this just is so like obvious or easy to do in your mind. And so it's like, just do these things. These are the things that we should have in our relationships, in our, you know, in the dynamics of our work, in like, in however you show up in your life, you have these expectations that it just should be like this. And I do these things, so you should do these things. And so it makes it doesn't seem irrational that you have these expectations. Am I right? Put a yes if you're nodding along, right? It doesn't seem irrational. So why does this bother you so much? Why does it bother you so much? You know, you want people in your life to do these certain things in this certain way, and when it doesn't happen, it just crushes you. Why does that happen? I think that's the bigger part of what we're talking about here today. Because if your expectations, sorry about that, my internet's glitching. Coming on back. If your expectations, give me 1 second here. Okay. All right, we're back on. You know, if you had expectations of how others should be, and they don't lead up to that example, they don't follow through on what you're expecting, and it didn't bother you, this wouldn't be a problem. You wouldn't be here right now, right? You wouldn't want to heal this habit inside of your being if it just was like water on a duck's back. It just really rolled off of you and it didn't make a difference. But the thing is that it really, really bothers you. It hurts you for people in your life not to do the things that you expect for them to do. Now, I'm going to tell you why that is. And this is going to completely blow your mind. Are you ready? I hope that you are taking note here. This will be a episode that you re-listen to. Hopefully you have a pen and paper in hand. The reason why it bothers you is because you have many, many ingrained habits yourself. You have many programs in life. You were growing up where whoever your authority figures were or people in your life, they expected things of you. Now, just hang tight and go back with me. Go all the way back to as far back as you can remember. You had expectations put on you. And do you remember what that felt like? You know, you weren't born with the habit of expecting from others, but you pick this way of being up. So remember that. Even if you had a fantastic childhood, I'm not judging your childhood right now. I'm speaking facts, and you get to be here. Because you're here, you get to heal. When you were younger, you were expected to, let's say, go to sleep at a certain time when maybe you didn't want to go to sleep at that time. You were expected to wake up at a certain time, and perhaps you weren't ready to wake up, but you were expected to. Maybe you had to be around people that you didn't want to be around, but you were expected to be around them. Maybe you were expected to go to a school you didn't want to go to. Maybe you were expected to sit much longer than you wanted to in that classroom. Maybe you were expected to learn subjects and topics of things you didn't care to even learn. Maybe you were expected to dress a certain way that perhaps you didn't want to dress like. Maybe you're expected to talk a certain way, act a certain way, eat certain things that maybe you just didn't want to. And you know what happened is that over time, with all of those expectations that were put on you, and it may seem minor right now, but to us then it was very big, and it matters on how much you absorbed it. All right, it doesn't, just be open here. You had expectations of you, and a lot of them, if not most of them, they weren't something that you wanted to do. You were kind of forced and pressed into an identity and a way of being that you didn't really want to be. It's like you're an orange and you were expected to be an apple, right? That's kind of how life was through an experience. And so you now have all this programming of expectations being put on you. And you know what happened when you didn't fulfill those expectations? You felt guilty. You felt bad. You felt stupid. You felt wrong. That you couldn't quite learn as fast as someone else in that classroom, that you couldn't quite speak as well as someone else, that you couldn't just quite get it right like maybe other people could have, maybe your mom or dad wanted you to. Do you remember that? So it's like all these expectations were put on you that you didn't want to do in the first place. And then it started to make you feel guilty and bad and doubtful and stupid and wrong and not good enough, because you couldn't quite live up to a standard. You couldn't quite be someone else. It's like you were forced to be someone else your whole life, right? And so you remember that. Now here's what's happened to you, my friend, and I love you so much, but here's what's happened to you, is that over time you began to conform. You conformed, and you just started, to make life easier, to get the accolades, to get the, I'm a good girl and I did it right, to get the awards and certificates and the, all the celebrations. You began to conform and just do what other people expected of you. You started to literally be someone that is not even you. You started to pick up this identity that, you started, you're the orange who started making apple juice, right? You started to do this because it was comfortable for everyone else, and you didn't want to deal with the whiplash of it all, and you didn't want to deal with the confrontation, and this is just how life should have been, right? This is how it should be. And so you follow pursuit. Now, this is what happens while you're in this circumstance, in this situation in your life, is you're here because you want to stop putting expectations on others. But the reason why you're doing that is because you're programmed to do it. Now you grow up, now you're here in this life, and you're doing the exact same thing that was done onto you. You're now putting those expectations on your kids, on your spouse, on your colleagues, on everybody else in your life. And I'm going to tell you right now, guess how it makes them feel? Everybody that crosses your path, that you now put expectations on, has to grieve your own trauma. They have to now feel the same way you did, guilty, wrong, stupid, not enough, broken. Something must be wrong with me because I can't live up to your standard, to your expectation. Is that right? That is not right. That is completely wrong. So the way that you stop putting these strict expectations on others, how others should show up in life just because you think that way, is to first start your own healing. You get to heal all of that hindering programs, releasing those programs that were put onto you as you were growing up and going through this life. It's not right. You turned out, literally, you have so many expectations of others right now that, and I'm going to say this with complete love, but you turned out a complete bully. You're acting like a bully. You're acting like a complete controller. In every area of your life, a fucking warden. And I say that with love. And if you're not acting that way, my friend, then you've either suppressed it and manifested a different identity of being sad all the time. If you're not being a hardcore controller, telling everybody what to do and thinking how everyone needs to think, then you're the complete opposite. You're now very sad and you cry all the time. You cry all the time and you're sitting behind doors just pouting, putting everyone through a guilt trip because they can't do or understand the way that you are. They can't do the things that you want them to do or think like you want them to think, and so you're crying and you're putting them through a massive guilt trip. Both of those are not okay. And you know how I know this is because I've done both of them. Because I know how it feels. I know what it's like to be a complete controller. a complete warden in my household, and then also to be a crybaby. And I was just acting out on what I picked up, on what you've seen. It's not you, my friend. It's not me. You're not broken. You're not a bad person. It's not you. I mean, you're so free. You yourself, you're this beautiful soul who has no expectations other than you loving others. There is no one person, like everybody needs to be one way in the true self of who you are. Do you get what I'm saying? These are programs. Don't take this as I'm being hard on you. Yes, I have to do tough love because we get to see this about ourselves to transform it, to release it from our being. You have to understand first what the hell you're doing to be able to change it. Why are you putting such crazy expectations on others? Why are you having so many arguments in your life? Why do you have so many broken relationships in your life? It's because you have this programming. You know just as well as I do that any confrontation, argument in your life, it's because you were putting expectations on others. If you argued with your spouse, it's because you were expecting him or her to think like you, to do the things that you do. Same goes for your kids, your colleagues, your boss, the gas station clerk. You are expecting them to be you. And that is wrong. So you first have to acknowledge, if I want to change this in my life, then let me take full responsibility and begin my own inner healing work. And that's what I do by way of hypnosis. There's an audio that I pair with every single topic here each week. And it's called Stop Putting Strict Expectations on Others. You want to get that audio. If you're a member, just go press play, take care of it, put it on as many times as you need, and do your own inner child healing work, your own life experience work. If you're not a member, click the link, use the code STOP, and you get it for 50% off. I tell you what, because we're going into Thanksgiving tomorrow. We're going into this whole week of holidays where we're around a lot of loved ones right now, right? Or you're being faced with maybe you're not around loved ones because perhaps you're trying to make them something they're not. And so you don't have a good relationship with them anymore. And maybe this is your time to heal that. Maybe this is your time that you wake up and you truly feel thankful for how you are so unique and how no one can be you. No one can be anyone. Everybody is this very unique individual that's going to think slightly different, do things slightly different, be very different, have this different path in life. They are their own person. So if you can realize that in this moment, that no one's going to quite think like you, compute like you, be like you, and it's not their fucking job to. When you can understand that, you stand so strong in your lane. You are happy then, my friend. You are very happy. Now, we talked about this healing, but I'm feeling something that's coming up right now, and it's, are there any expectations that are valid? Are there any expectations? Because I know what it sounds like right now, that you can't expect anything from others. And you just need to do you, and then you'll be happy. Well, yeah, if you can get to that point, that's full enlightenment, and that's fantastic. But the deal is that I do believe there is legit expectations. There's some. What I'm talking about right now, and I'll go into what I think those are, what I believe those are, but what I'm talking about is those absolute absurd expectations, those ridiculous expectations, those very strict and rigid expectations that you have of others. Those are wrong. Telling people how they should dress, thinking people should dress different, speak different, eat different, be different, live a different life, have a different career, say different things. I mean, you are wrong when you're thinking like that. Let people be who they're destined to be. They will be so much happier with you, and you will be so much happier with them and yourself. So some things that I have in my life, yes, I have a husband, yes, I have kids, yes, I live amongst a world with many people and have many different powerful roles in my life. And the expectation I have, and believe me, this is something that I didn't get right out of the gate, and I'm still working on. Yes, I've gotten a lot better, but here's what I believe that is um, okay to have a standard around, or okay to expect others of. First, you got to know that you just have to expect to love them. You got to truly just love them. Now, if they're your children, this is a little different. If you're completely responsible for the health and well-being of that person, they're still under your wing of, say, let's say they're a child, they're not yet an adult on their adult, then you have a responsibility to their health and wellness. Doesn't mean you condemn them to do anything they don't want to do, but I have a responsibility to tell my children to brush their teeth, right? I have a responsibility. I expect my kids to eat. Eat some food. Eat some clean, nourishing food. Get some sleep. Learn the fundamentals of life, like reading and basic math. That's about it. Learn the fundamental for them to understand, like the eagle has to lead the nest. You do got to give, expect some things of those around you, just for their health and safety and well-being. But forcing them to speak a certain way and to act a certain way and address a certain way is wrong. It's completely wrong. You can't expect for your partner to love you the best that that partner can. Not to love you the way that you're going to love your partner, because it would drive you insane. Their definition of love is going to be very different than yours. And you can have expectations on yourself to acknowledge that and to grow around that and begin to accept that people are going to love you very differently, think about you very differently, and do life very differently. You can expect that, but again, that's an expectation of yourself. And my friend, I'll end on this. If you don't really like the way that someone is, and maybe their way of living actually hurts you or is not right to you, then leave. You're not a prisoner of anywhere. If you don't like it, maybe if you're getting abused or mistreated in some way, then get out of there. What are you doing? Right? And I'm just trying to cover all ends here because I know what some of you are thinking. At the end of the day, you get to heal because it's not you, it's your programming that is being so concerned about how other people are living their life and how it's affecting you. It's a complete selfish, ignorant thing having these programs inside of your being, because you're wanting other people to be a certain way so it makes you comfortable. So it makes you feel better. Do this so I can be better. Do this because, I care too much about what other people are going to think of our relationship or think of you or think, I care too much about what other people think. So let's act this way and let's do this. That, my friend, that's such an insecurity. That's a painful thing to live with. You get to let this go. And I really, 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 really hope this opens something up in you and you had a breakthrough in this moment. And are you going to get it right out of the gate? No. But if you do get this audio, you'll get a lot of it right a lot faster. A lot faster. As you're listening right now, I hope you're realizing what you get to release from your life and what is truly going to be right for you and in your relationships and your life. And you get to come from this moment having an action plan, a game plan of what you're going to do, how are you going to handle more of this, how are you going to keep doing this deep inner healing work for yourself. And it doesn't have to be long, my friend. Maybe just a few plays on this audio and a few more experiences in your life, and you can be at this point where you don't care. You care, but not that much about what other people are doing. You're not affected by how they show up and what they're saying and what they're doing. You're just in acceptance and forgiveness and in love with how they're being, with what they're doing. It's like breaking the chains. You step out of bondage. when you can truly get this down. Is it going to be easy? No, but it could be easier if you do the real work. Get to the real cause, the root cause. You have many programmed expectations that you have gone through in your life that get out of your way. Release these blocks and really step into what I'm knowing, like what I'm saying you know to be true. You feel it to your core. You want to accept everyone for who they are. You don't want to care about what other people are doing and saying. You do want to love people unconditionally. Right? You want to live a free life. You want to be able to live in your lane without worrying about what other people are doing and how other people are acting. You want to be able to just stay confident in with who you are and what you're doing and truly accept and forgive and love everyone else. You want to do this, right? This is not me blowing smoke. Like, this is absolutely what you want to do. So start the work. Start the work. You get to do this. I promise you, life gets a lot better. All right, I send you so much love. Happy Thanksgiving. Feeling so thankful for you being here. Get your audio, get on to your next step, and get on to a bigger, happier life. So much love. Until next time, next Wednesday, 10 a.m. California time.